I'm here with Michael Britt from Lonestar. Thank you so much. You are actually
Oh,
my inaugural, very first guest on this
yay.
podcast. Cool, and hopefully
It's
we'll
good to
get
be
this.
first.
Yeah, yes, sometimes, yeah. But I'll hopefully get this on YouTube too. But this is more for the podcast. So
Awesome.
you are in Nashville, correct?
I am in Nashville,
But
Tennessee.
you're from Texas.
Yeah, originally I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, and lived there until I was about 24, 25, and then migrated up to Nashville, and I've been here the other half of my life. So,
Yeah, I went to Nashville last year for the first time,
mm,
and I loved it. I loved it. I'm going back again twice in within a week in June.
cool.
So
Let
what
me know.
I was gonna ask you what if I had to pick one spot to eat at.
I would say Hattie B's, just because I'm a
Hattie
hot
B.
chicken fan. Yeah,
Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to remember that.
yeah. And I wouldn't go any more than hot your first.
Yeah, I don't do the spicy stuff well. So
Then you might want to start with the mild.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, very nice. Cool.
That's
All right. So Lone Star. Now every time you guys, I'm in Rhode Island, so every time you guys have come up this way, it's been when I'm gigging. So I've never
yeah,
actually been able to get out, to see you guys, which kind of sucks. Same thing happens with I'm a huge Hall and Oates fan, and
yeah.
every time they're up here, I can't go. So I'm hoping to catch you guys at some point.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
I know
I'll
you're
let you know if we're up there.
you're going on tour starting up soon, right? April.
Yeah, we kind of tour year round. It's just we don't get busy until the summer. Usually it's
Yeah,
just weekends for the first half of the year.
same thing for us too. But yeah, I'm hoping. I actually looked up when I'm going to be in Nashville to see if you guys are going to be around there. But I think you're going to be
You
in
know
Colorado.
what dates you're going to be there?
The week of June 19th through the 27th. I'm going for like 2 nights on the front end and 2 nights on the back end. But
Gotcha.
I think you guys are out in Colorado,
Well, we have Missouri and Arkansas
Arkansas. I saw
that
Colorado
weekend.
somewhere.
Yeah, Colorado's the very next weekend.
Cool,
I'm actually on family vacation the 25th and 29th, so I'll be in Florida
nice.
with all the kids. So, but I'll be in town that first half of your trip. Let me know when you're
Oh
down.
yeah, definitely. I think we're there the 19th and 20th, and then we have to head up. My daughter figure skates, so we're down.
Oh, cool.
We're going up to Indiana for that. But yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Um, Now you got a new album, Never Enders.
Never Enders came out last year. Yeah, it's our latest album.
Cool.
We've been doing this. I don't even know how many albums we've made, but it's a lot. I mean, we've been really fortunate to be able to keep making records. So now we don't have a big label, so we can kind of just do
Well,
it
that
at
yeah,
our leisure.
that's exactly the way to do it nowadays because it's just a vicious cycle, and
Mhm.
I gave up the whole trying to get signed. I said once I hit the age of 35, I'm done, and I went through the whole thing. We sold CDs overseas and all that stuff, and I hit 35, and I said that's it. I'm done now. It's time to make some money.
Well, even as successful as we've been over our careers, we can't get attention from any of the major labels
Yeah,
anymore. They're all looking
it's
for 20-year-olds. So
yeah, and the flavor of the week, and one album, and then they're done. So, but I'm glad you guys are still going. It's
yeah, I mean, I can't believe we've been around. This is our 25th anniversary as a band. So this year is
yeah.
our
Oh,
super
that's
anniversary.
awesome. That's awesome. Great.
I know, it's crazy.
Um, so you had your song "Amazed." I have to ask this. You probably been asked this a million times. Where were you when you heard that song went to number one? Were you with the band? Were you, with family, or do you remember?
That was a really busy time. We were working all the time. I know right before we released the Lonely Girl record that Amaze was on, we did a 6 week radio tour. We just literally were gone 6 weeks, and every day was two or three radio stations,
Yeah.
and that was a busy time. And then a few months later is when Amaze went number one. It was in the summer of '99, I believe. Um, I don't remember where I was when it was number one because it was actually number one for 7 or 8 weeks
Right.
on depending on which chart you look at. But I remember being in New York City in Times Square. We were up there doing some media, and I'm walking by one of on Times Square they have all the radio or
Yeah.
the camera stores,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
cheap camera stores. And I'm walking by one, and I can hear Amaze playing over the PA in some camera store. Like,
Right.
okay, that's pretty big. When you're just walking down the road, you hear it coming out of the store.
Yeah, I was just actually in Times Square a couple of weeks ago. We got lucky; it
Mhm.
was 70 degrees out,
Oh wow,
and then the
nice.
next week it was like zero. So we picked the right weekend
Blizzard.
to go. Yeah, basically. Cool. So you guys are touring, and you any Northeast dates you think coming at some point?
I know we're in Maine. No, don't you want to go all the way up to Maine?
Yeah, I saw. Actually, you're in Massachusetts, aren't you?
Um, Portland, Maine on May 21st. Massachusetts, Marshfield, Mass on the 20th.
May 20th. I have a gig that night.
Of course
See
you do.
that?
And then June 4th, we're in Batavia, New York. I'm not sure exactly where that is.
Yeah, I think that's probably like 3 or 4 hours from me.
Yeah, we play. Our tour schedule is kind of bizarre.
All over
Kind
the
of bounce
place. Yeah. Cool.
We go. I make jokes. We just drive around to pick up paychecks. If they would send them all to the same place, we wouldn't have to travel. We just drive around, pick up a check, and go to the next town.
So I think that the one other time that I spoke to you was probably about a year ago on the phone, and it was Kemper related. So let's kind of switch over to that, because I think that's what most of the guys that are going to be watching and listening to this really want to know about. Actually, congratulations! I just saw the guitar player feature from yesterday.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a treat. We did that interview last, I want to say October, November, and I just
And
never.
they're just putting it up now.
I wasn't sure when it was coming out. I was under the impression it was just going to be like a little blurb, like a little column somewhere, and then
Right. No,
finally comes out, and it's like 3 pages.
Yeah, it was. I read the whole thing yesterday. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, I mean the Kemper, and when I called you a year ago, you kind of ran through how you had set up, like, very simply, like no outboard gear, nothing. You just went mic into, and that was how you did it. And
Yeah.
I was going crazy with trying to. I had a Kemper twice, and I just recently got rid of it, but I still have access to one. And I've done them here at home. I've done it at a friend's studio, and all different ways. And it seems to me the way you're doing it, just bypassing a lot of the crap.
Well,
And just listening through the mic, just listening. The microphone is doing all the work, basically.
right. The Kemper does most. To me, the Kemper does all the work. So as little stuff as you can put in its way, the better. So yeah, I try to. And I've done it different ways. I've gone to studios, friends of mine studios, and we've done it throughout nice outboard gear and all that stuff. But every time I go back and listen to them, I always like
The way
it's funny. The very first profiles I did it was backstage at a venue. We were in Warsaw, Indiana, at this little in the round theater, and I just got my Kemper, and they had this huge. They do like community theater there, so they have this huge room in the back that is just lined with costumes, from all these plays that they've done there at their community theater. So that's the room I was in, and I set up my normal stage cabinet and my normal mics and all that, and I grabbed our drummer's. He had a little submixer mixer that was just in his road case. So I grabbed that, and it was literally whatever I had available, and I mic'd it up and ran the profile. I was like, okay. And literally this day, one of those is one that I still
use. Yeah. And you're still using the third power cabinet on stage, and
lately I've been using this company called Zytone.
That's right. Yeah, I did see that the wedge. They make a wedge. They make a cabinet though, right?
Yeah, they make a wedge. They make a regular guitar cabinets, and I kind of commissioned one that has an open back.
That's right. I remember seeing that. I'm a
fan of closed back cabinets, so I wanted an open back to kind of breathe a little bit. So that's what I've been using for the last couple months on stage. And then I still have my third powers that we have a building called the Band Cave downtown.
Right. Yep.
That's where I do all my profiling now. So I have a cabinet always set up there with my mics pretty much in the place that I like.
Right. Yeah, I remember you did a Periscope thing, I think, from the Band Cave once. I remember seeing that. Cool. Yeah, when I was using the Kemper, it was I had the first time I had the unpowered, and I went crazy trying it because I just like the way it sounded through an actual, on stage anyway, an actual guitar cabinet, no matter what cabinet it was. So I ended up the second time around I got the powered, and I was just running it through my Marshall 412, and I was running it, the full profile like I'm sure you do, direct out.
Right.
So for the audience to hear, but for me on stage, using in-ears, and I just didn't like that really direct sound going into my ears.
Right.
I hear a difference. I don't know if you do, but that's why I like just having that behind me.
Well, and I grew up old school where I just had an amp behind me the whole time I was playing. So
Right.
when we went to in-ears, I tried for a while using both in-ears and never get used to it. And we tried different room miking, like front of house mics and all that stuff to try to put some space in it, but I never got used to it. And then one day I just kind of popped one ear out and I was like, oh, that feels so much better. It was just kind of like a relief.
Yeah.
Because I could hear my cabinet on stage, I could hear the drums, I could hear the bass, but I had my left ear to hear my pitch for my vocal and all that, and just the clarity of the guitar, I could hear that.
Now,
So
let me ask you this, because I've seen different stances on this, on using one in ear, one out,
yeah,
as far as like not good for you.
it's not good for you, I'm sure.
But as long as it sounds good now, you're
It works for
it
me. I
works
know
for
it's
you.
not
Yeah.
the best thing for my
Well,
ear, but it works.
what I did recently, I was going crazy with in ears. I mean, I love, like you say, for your vocals, they're great. But the guitar, it
Right.
always, no matter what I did, the guitar, whatever the sound guy would send me, it didn't sound right to me. So I ended up, I don't know if you can see it behind me over here. I got a rack case here,
Uh-huh.
and I built my own personal system, monitoring system, and I'm actually miking my cabinet with two different mics and running everything that I use through that thing. And I tried
And
it
then
going, yeah, and I then I can mix it and not affect them out front. And
yeah.
I tried it with the Kemper. I tried it with I use a Line 6 Helix now, just for
Mhm.
effects. I'm running a Friedman amp, but I tried it both ways, and it's working. That's working for me. Like, I'm sure you're playing these huge, much bigger venues than I am, and you get more time to dial stuff in.
Well,
Usually,
not all the time, but
not all
it
the
helps
time.
us. Yeah, we carry our Digit Design venue everywhere we go, so we
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
same console everywhere we go. So
yeah. You can
it
you
kind
can
of doesn't
save.
change.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
save scenes and all that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with that. It's working out well. But so your latest Kemper pack was I believe it's the original 5150.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
PB.
yeah. I had that was like my first real amp, and I actually have one of the first Music Man Van Halen guitars that I used that
Okay.
guitar for 20 years and beat the hell out of it.
Huh.
And it's been in a case for 5 years now, and I just brought it to my local shop here. It's got dents in the frets. It's got all kinds of. But it was those two things. I had that 5150 and I had that guitar, and that's what I played. I didn't want anything else.
Yeah.
It's super, and most people don't know that 5150. If you, a lot of people think it's just heavy, heavy, heavy. But if you set the gain down low on that thing and push it with some kind of boost, it really, yeah, it's
I was shocked. I just wanted that sound because I've got a lot of heavier guys that are always looking for that.
yep,
And I saw one pop up on Craigslist locally, and I went and bought it, and I plugged it in. I was like, holy cow, this thing's good. I never actually owned one, but I think I played through one a couple of times that friends
yeah,
had. But I was shocked at how good it sounded. So that's why I kind of dedicated the whole pack to it.
yeah. It's a pretty it's heavy too. As far as weight, it's a
It's a
beast.
beast.
Yeah, it's this. I mean, they're still going. PV makes great stuff. They're still going. A lot of people make fun of PV stuff, but they make some good amps and
And they're
guitars too.
bulletproof. They will last a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a 412 PV. It's from that same series. It was an early 5150 412 cabinet I've had for 20 years now.
With the Sheffield speakers in it?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And so when we first started doing recording in Nashville, I was in the band, so I got to play on the records, but they also brought in studio guys. Our first producer did. So
Mhm.
Brent Mason, who's a humongous studio
Yeah,
player, he had one of those PV 5150 cabinets, and that's what he used when he needed his rocking kind of sound. He'd plug into that cabinet. That thing sounded fantastic. So when I had the ability to find one, I actually had two of them. I had a slant and a straight, but
Yeah.
I ended up selling the slant years later. But I've always liked that cabinet. Just those Sheffield sounds really
Yeah, I don't know
for
if
that
it's
kind of sound.
I don't know if it's the combination of the Sheffield and just the way the type of wood they used, or the way it was,
Yeah.
because I did have one, and it had just a nice, like, really compact, tight
But it
sound
had a
to it.
nice bottom, but it wasn't
Yeah, it
totally
wasn't over the
floaty.
top, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now you're still using, now in your profiles, you're still using the Fathead, or is it a Fathead 2?
I use the
Mainly.
Fathead too, and I also I've got a Royer 101 that I've been
Yep.
using lately. And it's kind of just depends on the amp I'm doing, or just I'll kind of start with whatever's set up already, and
Right.
then if it's fine, I'll leave it. And then if I'm profiling an amp and I can't get it to sound just like I want it, I'll swap the mics around. And I've got two or three different 57s that I'll swap, and I've got the two or three different ribbon mics. I've got two different fat heads. I've got one with a Lundahl transformer and one with the stock transformer. and then I've got the Royer 101. So it's kind of like whatever I'm feeling that day, whatever sounds good, and then I'll just come. The next amp I'll come in, I'll start there and move it around if I need
Right,
to.
right. I don't think I've ever tried the Fathead. I've tried 421s, the Sennheiser stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I've
the
got a Sennheiser 906,
I think I
which
have a
is
609, and I think my buddy has a 906 too. Good
yeah,
mics.
I like the 906. It reminds
Yeah.
me of the 409s that they don't make anymore.
Right, right.
It sounds more like that one. But I've got a few different mics. I've got a what's the other one that I have? I don't know. It's kind of like a large diaphragm. It's almost like an SM7, but I forget
Yeah.
the company that makes it. But I end up using the 57.
Yeah.
And lately I've been using like an 80s Unidyne, the silver 57. I
Right.
found one of those even with the switch on it. Man, that thing sounds great.
Wow.
Something about old stuff just seems to sound
Yeah,
good.
it's like all the old analog boards, and
Yeah.
you just can't duplicate that.
No.
Now, as far as your guitars go, what's your favorite at the moment?
As far as what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Your guitars,
Okay.
whether it's live or whether it's just sitting around the house.
That's been my thing this last year, is I've just kind of been going guitar crazy because I love my Tom Anderson. So
Yeah, yep.
and I've got my two main ones that I use on the road are on the trailer
boat,
right
yeah,
now.
on
So
the
I don't
trailer.
have to. But this is the guy that I use for all profiling practically, unless it's a really heavy amp. So this is kind of like my reference guitar, because this thing sounds good no matter what you plug it in.
Right,
But I kind of voice everything to sound good on this guitar because it's a Tele, but it's not piercing like Fenders, like stock Teles are.
right.
It's a little bit warmer. It hangs with my P90 guitars, and usually if I can tweak an amp to sound good on this, almost any guitar
It
I'll
will
play.
sound good, yeah.
So this is I can't try doing other ones, and it works, but it's particular to that thing. That one translates to all guitars pretty well.
Now it looked like what is it, a single in the bridge? Was
It's
that,
a
or
single.
is that like a mini humbucker?
It's a mini humbucker here, or excuse me, it's a full humbucker
It's a full,
here.
yeah.
And this is actually a stacked humbucker.
Stacked humbucker, okay.
But 90% of the time, I'm just using it as
Using
a
that
single coil. So the top coil is what I'm using most of the time. If I'm in a noisy environment, I just flick the switch up to that position, and
Yep.
it's full humbucker. Still sounds pretty good, but it's not as bright.
Yeah, that's my thing with tellies. I love the way they look, but every time I go to play one, it just
Yeah.
my ears hurt.
Oh, they're bright.
It's
This
just way
one's
way too bright. Yeah,
that
especially if
one
you're
I
playing
got.
through a Fender amp. It's bright there and bright there. It's just
Oh yeah.
too much. So I can see why you change that.
I've got a stock Tele, but it sits in the closet for the same reason. It's
Yeah.
pretty bright. And
Yeah, it's good for certain applications.
yeah.
It's just good to have, but
And I've got a couple Duesenbergs, got a couple Strats. I got into a building kick where I just started building a couple parts guitars this last fall. So I built this thing.
oh, that's nice.
So it's like an MJT body I got off eBay, and the neck is from Mario Guitars down in Murfreesboro. And so I just wanted a Strat, but with P90s.
P90s, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so.
And you got a single in the middle.
Yeah, and it's got a man-made bridge. Anything I kind of tweak on, I'll put the man-made bridges on it. They're the ones that made the original PRS bridges, and they just are really big and solid and heavy. So that one, and I built a Tele, kind of a clone of my Anderson,
Oh yeah,
but like a vintage. It's got the tummy cut. It's kind of relic a little bit on it.
that's what I like. I don't like pristine looking guitars. I just
But
I like
found
guitars
a
that
made
are
that for like cheap, and
yeah.
so this has been a fun one to play on.
Well, how is that neck? Is it really?
It's a little chunky. It's got the big slab board.
As far as like sliding on it, is that the one thing I love about my Van Halen Music Man is when you got them new, it felt like it was played.
This one is actually a polyurethane lacquer, which normally I go for nitros, but it was kind of a cheap neck on eBay.
Yep.
And I just got it as is, and I actually like
like
it.
it,
There's
yeah.
got this poly finish that it's not sticky at all. It's almost feels oiled, but it's not oily. Anyway, it's I was shocked. I thought I was gonna have to sand it and refinish it or something, but it's actually really nice. And I don't know if you can tell, but like on the 17th fret, it's missing a dot right here.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So I thought, oh, maybe that's why I got it cheap. And then I looked up because it's kind of modeled after Keith Richards' Macabre
Yep.
guitar.
Yep.
And I saw a picture, and he's missing the same dot. So I don't know if whoever made the neck did that on purpose, or if it's just a
Most likely,
happy
yeah, I would think
accident.
so. That's cool though.
Yeah. So,
I got to get into building guitars. I just don't have the patience.
and I found this dude on Reverb.
Yeah,
The
I just
parts
bought a.
guitar. It's the old snakehead
Yep,
thing, but it's
yep.
got a humbucker in it. And I
Nice.
put a Gibson 59 in it because it sounds good. And this is another man-made bridge.
Yep.
It just makes great stuff.
Nice.
This is a fun guitar. This thing is like a beast. It's so simple and it's a pine body, but man, it sounds good. I used this on some of the clips for the 5150 amp, I believe.
Yeah, no tricks to it. It just has
Yeah, it's
the
got that one sound.
the one
Does it
pickup. Yeah, I have a Van Halen. I can tell I'm a Van Halen fan, but I don't play Van Halen. I have one of the EVH brand, the Crop Circles guitar.
Oh
That I
yeah,
use on Unchained, and
yeah,
it's got one pickup. It's got the volume knob that says tone on it, and it just does what it does. That's it. You know.
yeah.
Well, a cool guitar I just picked up was a Variax, a Line 6,
Oh yeah.
the JTV, the James Tyler Variax.
Which one did you get?
The 69. Let me see.
69 Stratty thing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, those are nice.
yeah. I like it. I mean, it's cool. It's cool because you can actually. It's like having a piezo guitar, where
Mm-hmm.
you can send your magnetic pickups out, and then you can send off another signal to kind of blend the two tones together. But I'm thinking of changing the pickups. The pickups are good on it, but I need more. I need hotter pickups.
Right.
So I'm thinking of taking those out and putting some DiMarzios or something that I have on my other guitars.
Cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I actually I worked for years ago, and part of my gig was going to guitar centers and Sam Ash's
yep.
to demo Variax because it was brand new when that was coming out.
Yeah, the 300 series and the 500, I believe they were.
Oh, no, these were it was right around the James Tyler when they first
Oh,
came
when
out with the James
the
Tyler.
Tyler
So it
ones,
was
yeah.
just 5
Yeah,
years ago.
I had I think it was a 300 that I had originally, and I didn't like it. It was at the beginning of the life of the Variax. So since then, it's the guitar. Like even if I didn't use the Variax parts of that guitar, it plays.
Right.
It plays really well. It sounds nice
I've got
too.
a I've got a 700. Buddy of mine has it now because he was using it for some different weird parts. But
Yeah.
I love that guitar. It just the sitar in it is totally cool.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
12 string. There's the sounds that you don't have to carry a 12 string for. All those it
Right.
does it really well.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I do a Bon Jovi tribute, and the sitar, for the beginning of "I'll Be There for You"
Oh yeah,
is the sitar. I haven't used it yet because I just got it, but we do the whole double neck, acoustic for Wanted, and which I probably have to leave it in the show because people kind of want that. But if I didn't have to, I definitely use the 12 string on that thing. It sounds good enough to me.
cool.
But yeah, again, I don't know how much time you have left.
I'm good. I do want to. I just found out this morning Kemper is releasing a rig pack of 50 of my profiles from my
Oh, nice.
multi packs and stuff.
Yep.
So that'll be out this week. I'm not sure when this is going to be aired, but
As soon as I can get this up, it's going up.
so
And
start.
it all depends on. I mean, the podcast, I'll submit it to iTunes, and as soon as they,
Yeah.
they do their whatever they do. But the video, I can put up on YouTube right away. So
So it should be this week,
yeah.
possibly even tomorrow.
So
I mean-
we're recording this on March 21st, just so people kind of
Okay.
get the idea of when this is going out. But yeah, definitely. They've done. I had a few of their other rig packs that they did, from other guys too. So people are going to be excited to see your stuff on
This will
there.
be a pretty extensive one, and I think with the new Rig Manager software, it'll just kind of show up on your left side
Yep.
menu bar, and you can just try them out from there, which is kind of cool. But yeah, they're doing it's 50 rigs. It's
Wow.
basically all pulled from all my different packs.
Nice.
So I'm gonna readjust all my pricing too because now that they're releasing some that are free, I can't really charge the same amount for it. So I'm gonna you'll see lower prices starting this week too. So yeah, I'm kind of excited that Kemper's doing that.
That's awesome. I mean, I played a few years. When I first got the Kemper, I was using before I started doing my own profiles. I
Right.
was using yours, and they got me through a lot of gigs.
Cool.
I
Well,
like.
that's the cool thing about Kemper is you can get your own sounds in it, and that's why I got
Yeah.
it.
Right.
I've got buddies that have given me stuff, and they're great, and I might use them here and there. But just being able to make it what you want it to be, which is, I don't know how else does that.
Yeah, I think I was using your I think it was the PT100 profiles back then. Yeah, that's a great amp.
We do a cover in our rock medley at the end. We do a cover of part of "Come Sail Away" by Styx.
Yep.
And that's
you used to do you did Kiss too. I remember seeing Rock and Roll All Night.
Yeah. And we don't do that anymore. We still do the Another Brick in the Wall, and then we do
that one. I remember seeing that one.
I forget. We do A Piece of Life in the Fast Lane now, and we do Come Sail Away, and we even do like A Piece of Rapper's Delight, believe it or not. So it's kind of bizarre.
You need to get the old lady from The Wedding Singer to come out and sing the first part of that. I'd pay to see that.
Player, it was a running joke for 20 years. Every time we'd just be goofing off, Dean would start, our keyboard player would start singing that. And so we finally thought, it'd be really funny if we just put that in the rock episode.
So now I have to come see a show.
We have no shame.
Hey, if you're having fun, that's all that matters,
Okay.
We do stuff too, stupid things that we really don't care, but it's like an inside joke.
Well, that's kind of what it is now. Yeah. I mean, we have the same fans that come out, we try to give them something new and different and off the wall, so that's what we're doing.
Excellent. So I don't want to keep you too much longer here. If you have anything else you want to get out, I know you said the Kemper rig pack's coming out this week, the week of March 21st. Lonestar is starting up your summer touring. I believe it's April.
Yeah, we start actually. I mean, this weekend we're in. I don't know where we're at. Let me look.
We're in
Alabama.
Alabama, okay. Actually,
on April 1st, and then Mississippi on the 8th, and we're kind of in the South for a little bit, and then we go to Hawaii. So we'll be in Hawaii on the 14th, 15th.
I need that gig.
No kidding. It's the first time we've ever got to go there, so we're all kind of excited.
Yeah, that's one of my bucket list things, to go to Hawaii. But excellent.
Well, I was going to ask you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You've gone through all of the. You've gone through the Kemper.
You name it. I've played it.
The AX8 for a bit.
Yep. I did the FX8, the AX8. I still have the amplifier 3. I don't have the 12. Yeah. I got the Helix now. It's actually on the floor behind me.
Buddy of mine just borrowed my Helix because he just got a gig where he's working on a gig. So he may be using that. And we just got the amplifier 12 last week, and I'm programming it for that Hawaii gig because I don't have to take. It's not on Southwest Airlines, so I can't take my normal fly date stuff. I'm trying to. I've got the XFX2 Plus and the AX8. It's funny, you can get good sounds on all of it. It's just the amount of energy it takes to get.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons. Like, the only reason I got rid of the Kemper was I'm a guitar player. I just like new things.
Right.
And I got the AX8, and I got great sounds on it. On my website, I have clips. I recorded a bunch of stuff. I did some shows with it. It was good, but like you said, the programming was where, like with the Helix is, if you use the custom impulse responses, it's really bringing that sound up. But if you're at a gig and you need to change something really quick, the Helix, you can do it with your foot. You don't have to lean down and go through all these sub menus.
The interface on the Helix is really nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the easiest thing I've ever had to try to program.
I had a little trouble programming the AX8 because I wanted to try it in a sound check, and the way we do the same songs all the time, so same
order.
I wanted presets for each song.
Right.
It doesn't like presets. Like, it's more difficult to program it as presets.
Yeah, you got to go with
scenes. For kind of amp. Yeah, scenes, exactly.
Scenes, yeah, and the problem I ran into with that is you got the 8 buttons, you got 4 and 4, and I would have 4 scenes on the bottom. Like, I had my clean, my low gain, high gain, and lead. My lead sound was always, I put it like a 3 or 4 dB boost because I just got sick of relying on sound guys to put my solos up in the mix. So you'd have those mapped out on those 4, and then you'd only have the other 4 for whatever effects you want to turn on and off. I wanted to do song by song, but I ended up having to just make one set of scenes and use those 4 main tones, as far as switching from song to song, because it got too complicated for me.
Now, on the scenes, can you have different amp sounds on the scenes, or are you stuck with the same amps?
You can do. I guess it's XY states, where you have one
Still
and
the
X.
same amp model, right?
Yeah, well, no, you can have two different amp models, but it just, I don't know, the switching. Like I heard, especially using the in-ears, I heard. I mean, all these devices have that gap when you switch, except the Kemper didn't. In performance mode, I didn't hear a gap when you're switching from one performance to the next one.
Right.
But like even the Helix, snapshot, they have snapshots. I don't hear that gap as much. With the AXA, I could hear, and it was bothering me. Like the audience didn't hear it, my bandmates didn't hear it, but when I switched and I had that guitar pressed against my ear, I could hear that little gap, and it would totally screw me up when I was playing. Some guys don't care, it works for them, but for me, but yeah, I think the XY states the same thing with effects. You can set it, you can write a scene where you have two different amps,
Gotcha.
but you can only use one at a time. If that makes sense.
It just really, I'm so used to the Kemper and the way its texture is. It was just really difficult for me to try to make that do what this does.
Yeah, I mean the tones are in there. They're definitely in there.
Right.
It's just a matter of taking the time to
Right.
learn how to use it correctly. I went through so many videos and going on the forum. I don't know if you've been on the Fractal forum.
Yeah,
Those guys are really helpful.
Too much information. That's a lot of information going on there. And the Helix, did the snapshots just come out with the 2.0?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
they're at 2.12 maybe. Yeah, and they're just about to get the 2.2, I believe. But
And the snapshots
make it so much easier. I have I've been using it for cable method with my Friedman, and I just have it's laid out like a regular pedal board. I just have all my effects, and it changes the channels on it. And when I do run direct, the same thing. I can just set going from song to song is quick. And if you're running it, say you're at a gig and you need a different type of delay, something's not sounding right. You don't have to, like I said earlier, you don't have to lean down and program this thing. You can use your feet
right.
to actually change any parameter that you want that's in there.
Yeah,
so
cool.
it's a lot. You can tell a lot of thought went into making this. And hopefully they are going to support this for a long time, because they got a winner here.
Snapshots yet? I just now did that update a couple days ago.
Yeah, definitely. If you have any questions, let me know, and be happy to try to guide you what I know anyway.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of IRs on my own, and I've done the atomic amplifier IRs. So that's kind of what I use on that, and I've imported them into the AXA and the Fractal, or the Axfx and the Helix, and I'm still just trying to. My ears get so fatigued trying to figure it out. Like does it sound good? Until I come back to it, it's kind of like a.
Yeah, you start out and this thing sounds great, and then half hour later you're like, I can't stand the way this thing sounds. It's just you just got to shut it off. And
2 steps forward, 1 step back, and so it's like a war of attrition trying to get there.
Yeah. Sometimes it's best to just, if it sounds good at that moment, just stop and shut it off. Save it and shut it off, and then go back the next day and see what it sounds like. Yeah, because I listen to this stuff. Like one day I'll be recording, this thing sounds incredible, and then the next day I come in and I must have earwax in my ear or something, and then it just sounds totally different.
Well, your ears get used to, if you start blasting them, they will close off certain frequencies. They'll do the work for you as far as compressing and saving your ear.
Yeah.
But
it's a defense mechanism.
It is.
Honestly,
that's why I keep a bunch of real amps behind me, so I can always just cleanse my palate.
I got next to me over here. I don't know if you can. The Friedman,
Friedman.
Sitting next to me, but
which one is that? Which Friedman?
BE 100, 2016. Yeah, I saw a video. I had wanted this amp for years without even really hearing. I heard it live. I saw Richie Sambora in New York City solo. He was playing through one. And then the only other things I've seen were YouTube videos, and there was one with Phil X demoing it, like one of the older versions, and I'm like, I gotta have that. And this was 3 or 4 years ago, and I finally took the plunge, and it's a great amp. A lot of people will say, well, it just does that one rock tone, but this thing can go the cleanest of cleans I've ever heard to raunchy, really, really heavy stuff if you want it to. It's
a buddy of mine's got one. His name's Spanky Bassett, but he plays for Colt Ford, and that's his favorite amp he's ever had. And he loves that thing.
Yeah, I had one of the EVH, the 5153s, and I had the 50 watter, And I thought that sounded great. I was playing that for a while, and then I got this, and just one day I plugged a 5153 back in and I played. I said, I can't believe how good this thing sounds. And I'm like, why did I get that Friedman? And then I plugged the Friedman in and kind of A-B'd it, and then that answered that question for me right away. It just made it, the 5150 went from this, down to this.
Wow.
It just squashed it.
I still love that 5153.
I do too. Yeah.
It's such a good amp. I love having volume and gain on every channel. Usually the clean channel is a throwaway.
Yeah.
But having that master on there lets you really just balance everything really nice.
And for the price, what you get for it, I'll probably get another one someday.
I bought a whole half stack for $1,000. The head, and the 412. Nice.
Yep. Can't beat that.
That's the 100 one.
Yeah, that's the 100. Yeah, I haven't tried the 100. I really want to try that, and I want to try the Stealth too.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried that yet. That looks pretty cool.
And I want the Stealth guitar, but that's another story for another day.
Does it have the kill button?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that white one that Eddie played on the last tour, where it's all beat up and it's got the red. It almost looks like an LED. I don't know if it's an LED light or whatever it is. It's
kill button on it.
Yeah, it's got some kind of. It looks really cool. But any guitar he plays looks cool.
Yeah, I saw them down in Alabama on that last tour. It was awesome.
I haven't seen them since Hagar was in the band.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing vocally, but everything else.
The music wise, even the backup vocals, all the videos I've seen sound great.
Yeah,
Wolfgang actually has his own album coming out. Totally cool. Playing everything on it. He's playing every instrument, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. That should be interesting.
There's no talent in his family.
No. That's awesome. Crazy. Yeah. But I'll let you go because it's I know you had an appointment with something else.
Today's haircut day.
That's right, haircut. Yeah, haircut. I need a haircut. That's why I got a hat on. Yeah, you need a haircut for that. Going on tour, you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I need it short before I go to Hawaii, so I don't have to.
Well, I appreciate this very much, and hopefully I'll let you know when this stuff goes live, and you can share it and let your fans out there know what's going on.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Hey, anytime. Hopefully we'll do this again.
We'll talk some more gear.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right, see you.
Bye.